We are on Sundance, but your specialization is a little bit different than movies. You are working like editor in gramophones. Yeah, let's come here.
Okay.
Tell me, please, how is the situation in classical music in England, even all around the world? What do you think?
Well, there are two answers to that. There are two stories. One is, of course, the financial story. Like everywhere, the arts and music have been hit by the worldwide recession, and a lot of orchestras are having to cope with that. But on the other hand, a lot of them saw it coming, and so by the time the recession really hit, they brought in enough sponsorship to keep going. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And in the UK, we've been pretty lucky. However, the real test in the UK is going to be this year because of what we call the austerity budget. The Arts Council, which is the main funder of orchestras, has just had its budget slashed. And so a lot of the regional orchestras, I think, are going to be particularly pressed. It's going to be difficult. But artistically, which is the other story, truthfully, things have never been healthier. We've got the most fantastic crop of young conductors in the UK at the moment, as everywhere. I mean, in Czech Republic, you have people like Jakub Hrusa, who's fantastic. In the UK, we have actually Hrusos in the UK a lot, but we also have people like Robin Ticciati. We have people like Ed Gardner at English National Opera. We have people like Kirill Karabits in Bournemouth. So there's 5 or 6 of them, and Vladimir Yarovsky, of course, the London Philharmonic. And these people are energizing from beneath, if you like, the classical music scene as they come up, while at the same time we have the Gergievs, and we have Colin Davis, and the great Tony Pappano. We have the great senior conductors there as well. So it's very exciting, and there's a great spirit of adventure and the art of the possible, as long as we can work out how to pay for it.
Last question maybe. You told me how many recordings a month you are getting in a gramophone for listening, let's say.
We get about 500 recordings a month at Gramophone, so maybe the labels aren't making as much money as they once were, but they've adapted, and they work on smaller expenses, smaller outlay, smaller overheads, that's the word I'm searching for, and perhaps smaller returns, but they make great recordings, and they make many recordings. So it's always an adventure every month.
One of the Czech orchestras, Czech National Symphony with Libor Pešek, made yesterday live recording of AIDS by Mahler. Do you think it is worth to send it to gramophone among this how many hundreds?
Well, I hope we get everything, and the reviews editor will be very happy to have a look and decide. But he's a very interesting conductor, and of course it's Mahler year again, second year running. Last year was the anniversary of the death, I think. This year I think is the birth, or maybe I have it the wrong way around. But anyway, so there's a big focus on Mahler, and people are very interested in the many Mahler projects going on.
Last thing, BBC Orchestra, Jiří Bělohlavek. Is it success or non-success?
I think he's been a limited success, truthfully. I think he's done some things which have been fantastically interesting, like he did Mr. Broucek, the Janacek opera, which is almost never done. The Adventures of Mr. Broucek, that won a Gramophone award, that recording. And I always find him an interesting conductor to listen to, but sometimes perhaps in the Beethoven, in what you might think of as the central classical repertoire, he perhaps hasn't stamped his mark in as individual a way as I would have expected. But there are other conductors who do that, and he has fantastic gifts in the things that he does really well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.